Too much going on.
Carolyn's joined on Zoom, just so you're aware.
Okay. I'd like to call the Human Resources and Public Works Committee to order. Could we get approval of the agenda if you checked it out?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as set.
So support, it's been moved and supported to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We have an agenda. Okay, next item is call to the public. Do we have any public online?
We do not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, our first item is consider eliminating the grade 7 assessment aide and the grade 10 engineering technician positions in the Drain Commission office and approving a maintenance and assessment coordinator position at the non-union grade 10 effectively retroactively to July 1st, 2024.
Jan.
Okay.
Morning.
Good morning.
So just a little background, Tim retired January 1st and I've taken over the responsibilities that were left behind after we contracted Mid-Michigan Water to do the testing and running of the water system. So I've worked with Nicole recently to get the stuff in place so that we can take this to the board, and this is a way we found to save money. If we can't put this in place, we're gonna have to hire somebody to do those other responsibilities. And if we can put this in place, we've eliminated a full-time position out of the drain office.
Is that going to make more work for everybody?
For the past month, I've been pretty well able to handle everything that I've taken on. It's great to have Bob and Carolyn there too, because they pick up any slack, they're able to help out too. So,
well, for instance, we had to go out there yesterday, had a guy that had a broken water line, couldn't get the water turned off, so I went out and turned it off. And then when he got it fixed, he called Mike, and Mike went back out and turned it back on for those little things like that. We're still gonna have to do ourselves.
I'm sure it'll evolve too, as we work with Mid-Michigan Water, and they might come into some things that they can't handle or they can't do, so.
Any mistakes that are called in out there, we've been taking care of those too.
Is it your intention that Mike will handle those, or this position would take on those as they come up too? We'll have to.
Move to.
We're not finalized with Mid-Michigan Water, but I would say they've been, we needed a certified water operator.
Right.
They stepped in, they've been performing as such as of January 1st, just as Mike has. Remember, we talked a little bit about this in December and told him, please take on those duties January 1, Mr. Warner's retiring, and he did. I think it's important to mention that. He also has come up with the attached job description, which is part of the process, right? When you restructure we've scored it out, and it does prove to be a grade 10. Normally we would, send this out for reclassification. We're not doing that right now. The wage study is going on. I'm sure that, well, I think you said you haven't shared this with Amy Cell Talent yet because you want to make sure it goes through the board first, right? So they'll see this job description as well, but we've used the same point factor evaluation that we did when Tim, just because I'm looking at when community development restructured, and we went through it, and scored those positions, same type of thing. I'm looking at Jake online, same thing when Murph restructured, we went through the same scoring. That's the tool we have available to us, and it does score out as a 10. It's a great 10.
Okay, any questions or comments?
No, I think it grades out that way and, it looks good that we move on and, eliminate the position. So I'll make a motion to consider eliminating the grade 7 assessment aide and the grade 10 engineering technician position in the drain commission office and approve a maintenance and assessment coordinator position at non-union grade 10 effective retroactive to January 1st, 2024.
Support. It's been moved and supported to put item 4 on the agendas of the work session and regular session next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. The item will be forwarded to next week's meetings of the county commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob, I saw an email yesterday from the state from that MyHalf program for assistance for the Lake Isabella water supply. So it looks like they're looking for information for one of the customer accounts over there. So maybe we can look into that and see if we can get that info. Yeah, you were copied on it too. Yep. Thank you, sirs.
Okay, our next item is consider reclassifying the facilities director position from non-union grade 13 to a non-union grade 17 effective immediately. We have Steve Schumacher here. Give us the lowdown on this.
Morning.
Good morning.
As you can see from my staff report, I've spelled out basically what it is that the facility director is in charge of and the amount of support that he has. There's quite a bit there. I don't know if the board is fully realizing what the position, responsibilities and duties all encompass. I wanted to turn around and put pay grades of other directors that are on there. You can see on the other page and where the facilities director falls there. There's quite a difference. And the average of the two is better than a 15 pay grade. As you can see down at the bottom of it, there's several other positions that I don't think have quite supervision requirements, the on-call all the time, 24/7 requirements, holidays, weekends, that are making the same money or yet more money. And I wanted to put this before the board. There's also a wage report from Great Lakes Bay, which they didn't copy down one. That shows that the mean annual salary in Isabella County for a facilities manager is $86,150. I believe my wage right now is at 60. And I'm asking the board to pay the position for the duties and responsibilities that are required of it.
So Director Schumacher knows that I am not able to support this request, and I'll come out and say what I've said the last few reclassification requests that have come forward like this. Right now, we have an ongoing wage study that will hopefully straighten out that structure, right, in terms of other department heads should this position be up with them, as you pointed out here within the county structure. And in the wage study always looks to the knowledge, skill, and ability to do the job, right? And not necessarily more work equals more pay. It's do the duties require more knowledge, skill, and ability. So that's what everybody should be working with Amy Sell on to make sure. So that's generally the process for these, right? If it's not through wage study or reclassification, then quite often the board will look at comparables during union negotiations. And generally those comparables are other counties, right? County to county. So the Great Lakes Bay information is helpful for an average, but it's certainly not the governmental average. The mean for a CEO on that page is also 219,000.
Wow.
So you have to compare that in our structure too. We don't pay our CEO 219,000.
Do you think there's many facilities directors in those other counties that have 2 maintenance staff and 16 buildings?
We're about to find out in the wage study. Part of the wage study this time isn't just about salaries and what you make. It's about county of a similar size, how many do you have in your department, right? How many supervisors, how many maintenance techs, how many custodians? So we'll look at that, not just wage, but we're looking at benchmarking positions, number of positions as well.
We're
So
not
We'll be
saying,
part of it.
I don't think anybody here would be saying that you're not worthy of this.
Oh, no,
But, probably the biggest thing is time. The timing on this is just, when we're sitting there looking at a mill and everybody out there is looking to see what we're doing, you know, as far as the money in the county. It's just bad in timing. It's so bad in timing.
I understand that, Commissioner, I do.
Um,
I also know we've been in this position for more than the last month,
no,
and
right.
there has been several raises that have been granted since.
I believe there's commissioners on the board that encourage you to bring this forward. I mean, there was a time where I know commissioners said, if you feel that, we'll bring it forward. I think what Commissioner Hutchinson says is the time is different right now, right? It's the difference. The time is different right now.
It's 3 months difference.
It is. We've had this conversation recently too, to where I let you know I can't support it and you let me know you had to bring it forward, right? And I absolutely
understand
support
that.
you in bringing it
I
forward.
understand you're not supporting it. I also know that it's the board's decision, as
Yep.
I've seen in the past, so I'm bringing it forward to the board.
Absolutely.
When is that, wage study gonna be done?
That's just fast, yeah.
End of April was the anticipated date when we entered the contract.
And then it will be implemented immediately for the next budget cycle.
That's up to the board, that's up to the budget. They don't have to implement it.
I think we sure better implement it faster than the last time.
Yeah. The forecast, part of our current forecasted deficit is building in increases due to the wage study. That's how much the board supports it. And wants to implement it efficiently. But until it comes back and until they vote it in through the process, it's an unknown.
Okay, could I get a motion on this?
Sure. Consider reclassifying the facility director position from a non-union grade 13 to a non-union grade 17 effective immediately.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 5 to the work and regular sessions of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes carry. The item will be forwarded to next week's county commission meetings. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. The next item is announcements. Do we have any announcements?
No.
Oh, right. That's the next item. Okay, call to the public.
This will be brought up at today's Finance and Administration. So it hasn't had any formal discussion yet, although I have informal discussions with the chairman and with Commissioner Embry, who's the other person on the committee. I've been thinking of, that if this millage proposal goes down, Administrator Frost said we built in $1.5 million to implement the wage study. And I'm thinking, if it goes down, I guess we don't have to implement the findings of the wage study, but that would be very discerning to our employees. So I've been trying to think, how can we think out of the box and maybe come up with some way of moving this issue forward to a positive outcome. And I know when I was hired by the county in 1985, I came into a 37.5-hour work week, which we're still working as a full-time employee. So sometime before 1985, the county board adjusted time rather than giving a pay increase. That's in the back of my mind because I can't think of any other reasoning for reducing the schedule. So what I'm proposing, and I know the committees want more involvement in some of the issues, what I'm proposing is that we go back and we open a discussion and look into the possibility of a modified work week in the future. This would be something where we could implement the wage study, we could provide the pay increase that maybe is warranted from the study. But then we're gonna reduce hours. So, where are we gaining on this? On one hand, the employees are getting an increase, but then the other hand, we're reducing the hours that they're being paid. It may turn out that they're gonna get paid the same amount for fewer hours, which should be a benefit. Some of the employees may find that attractive. Until we can work our way out of this financial issue. And I know I've been reading a lot on the internet and reading a lot in the news that there seems to be a lot of interest nationwide on moving to a 4-day work schedule. So I'm not proposing anything in specific. I'm just saying we need to start engaging our employees to see how they feel about this. And so I put together this sheet, and we'll kind of go through it quickly. So actually, we're looking at the committees to work with their assigned county offices and departments to determine potential savings, but also the operational impacts resulting from possible modifications to the county hours of operation and reduction in employee hourly schedules. Where I see we need to have input, this list I just kind of threw together as a kind of talking points and try to energize the mind to say, what do we need to consider? But one of them is, our current work day is current work week is 37.5, which is 5 days, 7.5 hours a day. A possible future schedule, I'm thinking would probably be a 4-day schedule, could be 8 hours a day. It could be, depending on what the savings, we need to somehow save $1.5 million. Or maybe a little bit more, because we don't know what the study is going to come back at. But if we go 8 hours, that's a 32-hour work week. It doesn't mean we have to settle for a 32-hour work week. We may be able to have a couple of days at 9 hours. We maybe have a day at 10 hours. That would kind of open up more of a late afternoon for the people that work. They can't get in during the day, give them a chance to come in and conduct business with the county. It could be if we stick at the 32 hours, that we still take 1 day and we start late and end a little bit later, just to, again, accommodate the people that need services. I guess the consideration that every county function may be able to participate. You have public safety, central dispatch. I don't know the courts. I don't know what guides various departments. It may or may not be possible with everyone. Is it possible to continue a full level of existing services with a shortened work week? And if that's not possible, what types of services in each of those departments or offices would need to be curtailed? On the financial considerations, cost to implement the wage study may be offset by savings resulting from a reduced work schedule. Impact would favor employees found to be underpaid and would negatively impact employees at or below acceptable pay grade. Because if the study comes back that somebody's at their pay grade or being paid more than what the study says, they're going to have a little bit more of an impact from this than the employees that are getting an increase. The cost of the county budget for employees required to work beyond a shortened work week. So if we do have some departments that need to maintain a 40-hour, you don't start paying overtime until that 40 hours is reached. So even though we have a 32-hour, we don't automatically get into overtime situation. Building utility costs, there'd be some savings in electrical, gas, sewer. We can't turn these off completely at any season, but we could maybe adjust the set points on that additional day that the building would be closed. I guess I asked a question, would a 4-day work week become a personnel recruiting and retention advantage for the county? Again, some people would find that as an attraction, others maybe not so much. people that maybe need to have the income, it still would open up a day that they would have the possibility of doing some outside employment in the county. Holiday schedules would need to be adjusted so that we maintain the same number of holiday days off. Because right now, I think if the holiday is on a Saturday or Sunday, we do a Friday or Monday, we'd have, depending on what the work schedule is, we'd have to push it back or move it forward another day. Even with a modified work schedule, the savings will not eliminate the need for significant cuts to selected non-mandated general fund funded departments. Because that's not gonna get us to that $6 million or more that we're gonna need to have. I would say though that this particular idea of adjusting the work schedule kind of, in effect, has some way of balancing those cuts across the board to a point where we don't have to go and say, okay, this office or this department, you have to give this up, this up. You know, it's kind of a, everybody joins in to a certain point, the sacrifice is gonna have to be made. I can't imagine how we can get to $6 million with a near total elimination of the road patrol services. That's what, 3.7. But if we save $1.5 million here, I think we get within $700,000 of additional needed cuts before, if we balance for the 6 million. I don't know what the impacts would be. The tax millage supported departments would be the Commission on Aging, Parks and Recreation. I know they have seasonal people that work a full schedule. I don't know what the impacts to their administration. Commission on Aging, you know, if they have their own budget, you know, maybe they wouldn't they wouldn't need to participate in this. That's something would have to be determined on policy of the board. And I don't know if there's any state of Michigan constitutional and legislative requirements that may apply that would restrict doing this and going to a adjusted schedule. Finally, I don't know what the public relation considerations are. You know, I think we need to, the reason I'm bringing this up to the committees now, even before it goes to finance administration, is we're getting so close to the millage and we're gonna have to start talking about where we're gonna make these cuts. This one may be one way that we can have a significant impact without heavily impacting services. But the public may not like a 4-day work week. It may work, I don't know. But these are all things that I think we need to discuss with our various departments and offices and see if this is one way of moving forward. Once we get beyond the February 27th, I guess our committee will be working with administration to look at targeted cuts. That's all I have to say unless you have questions.
I just have a comment and I'm glad that we're looking into the near future and having some kind of plan. I was just wondering if in some instances we could have work from home again. I mean, I've been hearing a lot about how lots of people in the workforce like that because they can do other things or more flexible, not commute, all that stuff. I mean, I know it couldn't be in every department, but I just think that could be a piece.
I've been reading internet articles and they've been doing studies on it, and the majority of the studies have indicated productivity goes down. And
I've heard just the opposite, productivity goes up.
Well, that's about what I've been reading. And a lot of your larger employers now are almost mandating that you come back in the office or take a reduced pay or lose your employment. So I guess that's something you can discuss too, but
I just think it's a matter of flexibility.
If you don't have bodies in this office, you can't have services. I think we're.
Even in all cases, I don't know about that. In all cases of the things that we do. I mean, we had done it before, obviously, during COVID.
So if somebody comes knocking for a drain commission or county clerk or register of deeds, if there's nobody there, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's certain positions where that's just not.
Right, I get that.
I know my son is very well paid by Ford Motor Companies working on software for assisted driving vehicles. He lives in Kalamazoo, and the firm he works for is based out of Dearborn. So I know it has some possibilities, but it is very specific set of skills.
No, I think we definitely need to be proactive, and once this millage hits, we gotta be ready to go.
Well, as far as remote work, there are still some county departments that are promoting remote, the ones that it makes sense for. I know too, though, at our new building at 510 West
Mhm.
Pickard Street, we've got more of a one-stop shop reception area too. That may or may not make sense, right? You don't need all of those offices to have a presence right there if you can connect them to services from the person at the reception area. If
Like a
things get-
hub or something?
Correct, yeah, or public terminals in the lobby type of thing.
So I don't know.
That's something we
process.
think about for going back to the county building, right?
Mhm.
We had a lobby area, I don't know if we still do, but.
So I don't know the process, if you bring this up to your department head meeting, elected official department head meetings and get the feedback back to committees to kind of chew it out, and then we get together maybe in our goal setting session.
Would be okay with you if I copied this for them, this very thing. I think it's very thoughtful. I think it spells it out nice, so some questions in there will get answered beforehand, but.
And if they have any ideas.
course they will.
Right,
Of
exactly.
savings,
Yeah, this
you
is
know,
not-
in their own offices, plus like, let's say the work from home, does can the pay scale there also be adjusted? I mean, you're not coming in, you've got savings. Does the county, can the county?
Value there, let's.
Can the
modify.
county save some money there? You know, and if that's something that they can do and do the work, have the work done, and it doesn't affect the face-to-face positions, maybe we can save some money there. You know, I'm not opposed to that, but, I think we definitely need a plan to going forward.
And I agree, it may be a work from home, because if it's not working out, and services aren't being provided, it's the county department heads probably head down the line, or elected officials at the next election, so.
Yeah.
Puts more responsibility on the leadership in those areas, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good discussion.
Okay. There's no other call to the public interaction. I will adjourn the meeting of the Human Resources and Public Works Committee.